You have a job, maybe two. You get a paycheck. You pay rent. But you can't afford an emergency, can't afford to get sick, can't afford to be laid off. You might not know it yet, but that's poverty. The American government defines the poverty line as a specific number. Earn less than that, you're officially poor. Earn more? Congratulations, you've escaped poverty. Mathematically, 2025, a single person under $15,650 yearly is poor. A family of four under $32,150 is poor. That's the math. You know where you stand, except the government invented that number in 1963 and never updated it. Molly Orshansky, Census Bureau statistician, looked at the cheapest food diet in America. She multiplied it by 3 because families spent roughly 1/3 of their income on food. Food cost times 3 equals the poverty line. That was the entire formula over 60 years ago. Today, food is 12% of what poor families earn. Housing is 50%. Transportation, childcare, healthcare exploded. But the poverty line is still multiplying 1963 food costs by 3. It's like measuring whether you're drowning by checking if your head was above water in 1963. The ocean rose. The water's different. But the measuring stick hasn't moved. If America updated that line to include real costs, housing, childcare, healthcare, 13 million more Americans would suddenly be officially poor. That costs money, so the government leaves it frozen. The problem looks smaller. Politicians feel great about themselves. The definition of poverty fails most people actually struggling. But here's the thing, even when you escape the official poverty line, the real struggle is layered. And there's a chance you could be part of it without realizing it, because poverty has more than one level, and the middle-class Americans fall into one of them. You escaped the official poverty line. Congratulations, you're making more than $15,650 yearly. You work full-time. Maybe you're a teacher earning $45,000, a nurse making $55,000, a retail manager at $38,000. You have a real job with a real paycheck, except you're still broke. Welcome to middle-class poverty. Over 63 million Americans. You earn above the poverty line but can't afford to live. Here's what changed. In 1968, minimum wage was 53% of median household income. You could work a basic job and afford rent, food, savings, buy a house eventually. Today, minimum wage is 20% of median income. And even if you earn twice that amount, housing ate everything. Median rent increased 18% between 2020 and 2024. Wages for teachers, up 2%. The gap isn't closing, it's accelerating. You're not competing with other workers for housing anymore. You're competing with Blackstone and private equity firms. They own 300,000 single-family homes. You have your paycheck. The math is brutal. You got promoted, your income went up $200 monthly, rent went up $300, childcare went up $150. You're working more, earning more, and falling further behind. One emergency and it all collapses. Medical bill, car breakdown, anything. That's not upward mobility. That's a wage trap with better titles, and it's about to get worse. Then there's the deep end of the deepest. You're not just below the poverty line, you're below 50% of it. For a single person, that's less than $7,825 yearly. For a family of four, under $16,075. That's $21.43 per day for rent, food, everything. That's deep poverty. 17.3 million Americans live here. 1 in 5 of all people in poverty. This is where the system stops pretending it works. Average rent in America is $1,200 monthly. On $21 daily, you can't afford that. You can't afford utilities. You're spending $7 on food, if you're lucky. The rest goes to trying not to be homeless. And millions fail. 653,000 Americans are homeless on any given night. 40% are families with children. Here's what happens. You lose your job, can't make rent, get evicted, sleep in your car, rack up parking tickets you can't pay, lose the car. Government assistance? TANF, cash welfare, reached only 22% of poor families in 2023, down from 68% in 1996. You're not eligible, or the wait list is years long, or the benefits are $300 monthly, which solves nothing. Deep poverty isn't about falling behind. It's free fall. Mental health collapses. Depression rates 40% higher. Let's just not even go there. One missed payment, one bad month, and you're here. Which is not the end of it. It all starts way back once upon a time. You were told education was the escape route. Get a degree, get a better job, escape poverty. Except the degree became the trap. 43 million Americans hold student loan debt. $1.79 trillion total. Average borrower owes $39,375, but 3.6 million people owe over $100,000. Here's what happened to the promise. In 1980, average college tuition was $3,500 yearly. Minimum wage covered it. Work part-time summers, graduate debt-free. Today, average tuition is $29,000 yearly at public universities, $54,000 at private. Minimum wage at $7.25 doesn't touch it. Tuition increased 1,243% since 1980. Wages up 152%. So you borrowed. The system made it the only option. And now you're stuck. Monthly payment averages $336 for 10 to 30 years. That's $4,032 yearly. For someone earning $40,000, that's 10% of pre-tax income. After rent, food, transportation, there's nothing left. The cruelest part? 41% of borrowers from the lowest income families default within 12 years. They borrowed to escape poverty. The debt locked them in. You can't bankrupt out of it. You can't discharge it. It follows you until you pay or die. Drop out? 45% default rate. You have the debt, not the degree. That's not an investment in your future. That's generational sabotage. But wait, there's more debt traps to break your bank. The broken American dream called health insurance poverty. You have health insurance, one big, but you still can't afford health care. Family health insurance premiums average $26,993 in 2025. That's up 6% in 1 year, but your wages up 2% in that same year. And premiums are accelerating. KFF expects them to rise sharply again in 2026. But premiums are just the beginning. The average deductible is now $1,900. At smaller companies, often $3,000 or more. You pay premiums, you pay deductibles, you pay copays, you pay co-insurance, then insurance denies the claim anyway. One hospital visit, one emergency, one diagnosis. 20 million Americans, 1 in 12 adults, owe medical debt. Total, $220 billion, and that's just what's tracked. $194 billion of that is in active collection. That's collectors calling your phone. But here's the cruelty. 66.5% of all bankruptcies in America are caused by medical bills. You have insurance and still go bankrupt. Over 60% of homeless people have medical debt. Most had insurance when they got sick. Insurance didn't help. Medical bills are the #1 reason people skip meals, skip medication, lose housing. You know what's dark? This only happens in America. Every other developed country solved this problem. You didn't get unlucky, you got trapped by design. Speaking of design, it's where luxury poverty became a trend. You can't afford rent, but you own a $1,200 smartphone, designer sneakers, a gaming laptop worth 2 months' rent. You don't look poor, so nobody thinks you are. Can't afford the big dream? Buy small luxuries. $300 toaster, $400 air fryer, $17 smoothie delivered daily, without the tip. Here's the math that breaks your brain. In 1990, a massive TV cost $2,500. Median house cost $120,000. That TV was 2% of a house. In 2025, the same TV costs $1,500. Median house costs $438,000. That TV is 0.3% of a house. The TV got 17 times cheaper relative to housing. The house got 17 times more expensive relative to the TV. Economic inversion, luxuries collapsed in price, necessities became impossible. So you adapted. Can't save $200,000 for a down payment? Buy a designer toaster, it arrives in 2 days. The house never arrives. Buy now, pay later made it worse. Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, $800 laptop? Just 4 payments of $200. Your brain registers $200, not $800. The real cost disappears. 69% of BNPL users already carry credit card debt. Loan stacking, 3 to 5 active loans simultaneously, each with different due dates. Individually, each feels manageable. $50 here, $75 there, collectively, $600 monthly for stuff you forgot you bought. That's not irresponsibility, that's rational despair. You can't afford tomorrow, so you buy today. So here's the reality of poverty. You can work, earn, study, and have insurance, and still be trapped in it. Every level of poverty is by design, and each one feeds the next. This isn't bad luck, it's business. And the darkest part? You already knew this. Now you have the math. I hope it was worth it. Catch you all in the next one.